10. Which is wild, but that's just the importance of trying to take a map early as a laser was cured. They did not do that, and now it all falls on Clem to get something done. And again, even if you win on Golden Aura, then you have to play on Equilibrium most likely as Reynor's map pick. That's the tough part. I could see Clem getting a 2-0 against Reynor. I could see Clem getting a 2-0 against Cyril. It's just so much less likely when you have to play on the Zerg's map pick, on the map that they believe is their best shot at winning. The map pick is such a huge deal in WTL. And I would say the same the other way around. If Reynor or Cyril had to 2-0 Clem, I'd say that's very hard. Because Clem's going to have the map pick, right? If he loses the first game. 2-0s between players that are very good are very difficult to come by when there's a loser's map pick. So we will see. It's not impossible, but they are absolutely stacked up against Liquid right now. We do have our hatchery going down. Our barracks getting set. And again, we get all of this going. Hatch, gas, and pool coming up for the moment. We get this all underway. We're on the way out. Orbital command coming through. I'm just going to ourselves a few moments of setting up here. First couple of moments. Let's see if he heads to the upper left-hand side. Going to go scout around there for a couple of moments in general. Trying to see a bit of what is going on. As you just have, again, our queens and our few zerglings continue to come through. Let's get this up and running. Factory in the command center. Building from Clem as he gets started. You never knew the Chinese were interested in SE2. The Chinese community is probably one of the highest viewing communities of StarCraft 2 altogether. SE2 is heavily viewed in China. They have a lot of money to put into it because their viewership is very good. Honestly, I think Chinese StarCraft kind of saved the Korean scene because there was a point where basically no Korean player had, or no, a lot of players in Korea didn't have a team. And the inception of the Team League actually made every single, within the next season of GSL, every player was suddenly on a team playing because of the Team League. The Team League has had a very important place in StarCraft 2 and has been a very important factor over the years. Factory drops down, reactoring up some Cyclones to start us out. Is going to take a few shots of damage from a queen. Link speed still coming through. A couple more queens coming about as well. Two Cyclones is going to begin to move forward. I'm just going to start heading out onto the maps. Just going to get that going. Reaper at the front, going to try and go towards a couple of queens. Trying to see a little bit of what's going on. As, yeah, these Cyclones going to go after this Overlord. So Overlord will take some shots. It's a nice catch early. Cyclones able to grab that. And, oh, actually some Creep Tumors here are going to be in a lot of trouble as well. But yeah, every single Creep Tumor. 3 Tumors. That's a banging start from Clem. Love to see that denial. As the Cyclones locking on. A grenade comes down. We continue to push the Queens around a little bit. Cyclones locking onto the Queens once more. Reaper goes down. A couple of Hellions here, but these Queens are dropping. There's no transfusions available, and Reynor currently does not have a defense against these. He's going to lose another Overlord, so production is going to be halted even further. Reynor is taking so much damage. Clem has another Overlord right for the picking over here, and these Queens are still very much so. Just no energy, no transfusions available. This is not a pretty start at all for our Zerg, who is just taking mega damage from the first couple of units. Clem rotates back around. He actually sees the Zerglings as well. Now we're going to start killing off Queens because they're beaten up from before. These Cyclones have still not really taken any damage, so they're still extremely comfortable too. Hellions and the Cyclones move around. They move back and forth a little bit. Just going to be seeing one of those Cyclones taking a lot of damage there. Just going to be seeing a few Lings continue to run forward as well. Those Lings are going to try and catch a Cyclone a little bit. Liberator comes around the back of the main base. He's going to siege up. He's going to push some drones around because the Queens has been so busy. And injects are, still rolling here, but no Queens in position, no Spore Crawler ready. Reynor is taking an absolute bullying in the first few moments of this game. I mean, this is... this doesn't look like Reynor versus Clem. This looks as though Clem's playing the first round of the ESL Weekly. And kind of just bullying. Well, maybe not quite as bad as that, right? But it's just not looking like a fair match at all right now. We dive in on the third for 15 drones. Yes, that costs you the Hellions. But when you do damage like this, I don't think Clem minds that much. The only risk for him now is a counterattack. But if you can deal with this counterattack, build up an army, when he first pushes, Clem is going to have so much versus so little of Reynor. Like I say, Reynor has taken so much damage throughout these early stages. Drones have been pulled away multiple times. This is a... It's just been a brutal start. Like I say, Clem has just played a very good opening. I think it's one of those scenarios as well when it's not that Reynor is obviously as bad as this. It's just when something goes slightly wrong in a game at this level, those things can cascade and snowball so quickly into your opponent's favor. And that's exactly what Clem did, right? He gets one Overlord and suddenly he's getting another Overlord. The Queen transfusions are all used. The Queens are dying. The Lings are dropping. Suddenly that means the third is open for attack. You play a game which has got to be so perfect to not die early on, that when you start taking a little bit of damage, it opens up all the other gaps in your defense that would have otherwise been very easily filled. And that's what Clem really just abused right there to take this early game advantage. I know someone out there is saying, well, Zerg's so OP, he lost all those drones, he's still ahead in workers, but the reality is he's had to rebuild those workers, he's had time where he's not been mining with them, and that's when Clem's first push comes, he's going to have a lot versus Reynor, who's not going to have very much at all in comparison. That's when you're going to notice the difference based on the damage that Clem was able to deal early in this game. Clem's still sieging up, drone's taking some damage, Marine's going to press through, a couple creep teamers still going down as well. Liberator sieging here, Spore going to move into position just to push that back a little bit as well. So you see now Liberator running back away over to that far side. So that's just going to pull back out of there. Spire coming through, 2-2 upgrades currently on the way out as well. We got a little bit of everything on the go right now. Just seeing our Banelin speed coming up also, so just something additional for us to look at on top of all of this as we have Reynor. Will not have that yet though, and Clem pushing right now. 30-ish army supply in the lead, so again already looking very good in that regard. As we come out and across the map, we're just going to be seeing our Marines knocking down a creep tumor already. Another couple of Marines coming around as well. Just going to load into those medevacs. They're going to move in toward the main base for a few moments. So again, get active over there. Get that all set up. He's going to start stimming. Evo Chambers is going to begin to take some damage too. We're actually going to deny the +2 attack upgrade. So there goes one of the things that might have helped you out as Reynor just to get to a nice fast 2-2. But I mean, now you're trying to build mutas. You're trying to build mutas when 30 army supply down. So you're already struggling in terms of army numbers, and now you're going to struggle even more for the army that you're building. Widow Mine is huge as well. Reynor is really just not getting any kind of reprieve from these attacks. Nothing is really slowing down or chilling out or anything of the sort for him. It just seemingly gets a little bit worse and worse at the moment. So Clem doing a great job thus far. Like I say, he's played a very excellent game. It just all started off so well for him, and like I say, momentum is definitely on his side. This is a Queen defense on the left currently, which you're probably going to need more than just Queens to really deal with that. As the Widow Mine goes off, Queen gets picked away at as well. It's going to be seeing these Marines stimming into the natural. I'm going to see the Lings and the Mutas still coming through as well. It's going to be having the Mutas still overhead. A couple of these Queens getting shot down, so they're going to be taking a whole bunch of damage here also. The medevac still pulling back and getting a little bit more done as well. Things going back around. Liberator going to be here, picking away at that Queen. So Queen's still taking some shots, taking some hits. Another Widow Mine shot lands on a couple of Zerglings as well. Another one. Liberators are still firing. Damage still being done. The Mutas show back up. They're going to go after those Liberators as well, so they're also going to try and find just a little bit of extra damage here for the moment. Marine Widowmine comes across to the left-hand side. Also, again, just trying to see if there's some opportunity, some potential here. Maybe a way to get something done. Marines continue to push up. Overseas will still be the ones taking some damage. We just have our mutas trying to come back in. Widowmines do get all burrowed up. Widowmine shots going off. Overseer going down. Supplies are still very even. Reynor is going to lose his banelings, however. Do the Marines have enough power in them to fight through? I think there might be too many mutalisks. And Clem has to lift up, back away to reinforcements. The Marines still going to be chased by mutas, though. Is they going to get pushed back there once again? Now we stim over the left-hand side, see what else we can do over in this direction. Going to stim underneath those mutas one more time as Zerglings still taking damage. Widowmine's going off. Ling's taking a lot of shots. Extra units showing up as well. Clem pulling back one more time. The Widowmine still, again, allowing him to help just take some of these battles. Help him trade favorably for the moment. As Clem has getting it done in game number 1 at the very least. These few Banes rolling forward. Some more Marines and Marauders in the back. And you can just see that Reynor is slowly losing more and more control of each of these fights. This Clem loads up, man, dangerous game, because if you load up at the wrong time and those mutas deliver, then you're going to be in trouble once again, right? So even more trouble for you. Fire still coming across. The Bane's still taking some damage. Going to be seeing a couple of libs then set up. The mutas again turned around. A couple of Banelings getting picked apart over here as well. And that Marauder going to go after a Baneling as we speak. So they'll just bring that action into play. Ling Bane still going to come back around, surround one more time. The Thor there to try and hold out and to make something happen itself for a little while longer. As we do have the Marines going to come to the front. Thor going to be there as well. Muta's going to jump onto the sensor tower. Thor could maybe help out. Overseers are going to back away. Mutas are going to pull around one more time as well. Too much Terran. Again, the early game was so good for Clem. We do not come back from games like this when Clem is in control of them. Clem is going to grab the first game here against Reynor. Clem starts his campaign. Well, Equilibrium's the map. They got straight into it, guys. As Clem, this is the real challenge. You know, getting the first map of Reynor ain't easy, but now you got to play on Reynor's map pick. And like I say, as I hope I've exclaimed a few times already today, this is where I think the problem lies. This is why I think you genuinely have issues as the Terra and as Clem, because this is not going to be easy. This is not going to be simple. In fact, this is going to be pretty gosh darn brutal for you, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what goes down to get this underway. You love Clem, but he's not at that level of dominance yet. I honestly have to disagree based on the fact that Clem has just been dominating everyone for the last month, including Atlanta. But, video StarCraft is that we don't have to agree. I think Clem's as dominant as he's ever been. You have a hatchery going down on the natural expansion. And Clem get it done. Clem has got had a lot of wins on Equilibrium lately. Big dark on this map twice. He's been just better on this map than you expect. See what goes down. Reaper coming up, getting that underway. We've seen our Orbital Command, our command center coming up here. The Overlord and a little bit of a journey about as well. Let's see if he just at the front, just going to patrol around a little bit as well. comes about. Extractor is going to go down, so we managed to get that morphed in before the Reaper gets the kill. The third hatchery comes down on the front position, on the triangle position instead. So that becomes the plan right now. That becomes the setup. And let's see where that develops from here. Extractor does come down again, as the Reaper really wants to try and get that drone if at all possible. There's a couple queens coming about. Reaper takes some shots. Reaper taking a weird direction. Very nearly went down. It was very scary almost. Hatcher still coming into the front as well, so we get that all on the go. Everything getting settled for the moment. And that link speed still coming through as well. Couple of Hellions are now out, and of course this is where Clem continues to try and keep up the map control as best as possible. The link speed still coming through as well. We've got a couple of Hellions and the Reaper coming about, so they're going to try and deal some damage on top of that. Trying to again find anything they can get for the next few moments. Try and see what we can do. And Banshee and the Cloaking coming around as well, so we continue in with all of that. It's going to be seeing a couple of SCVs, a few Hellions on the way through as well, so the more of that we get, the better off we're going to end up being. Queen's still moving around over to the sides, and again, that Cloaking coming up, getting everything ready for these early moments. The Hellions will not be able to successfully attack in just yet, so they will take a little bit more damage as well. I kind of like the Hellion Banshee as the setup, because obviously it just gives you a good chance of harassing, and if you get off to a good start in Equilibrium, we saw it yesterday with Clem against Dog, you get off to a good start, there's always going to be some amount of potential, some amount of possibility then from that point onwards, right? So definitely possibilities, definitely things we could potentially watch out for. And we get that there, the Baneling Nest coming through. More drones, and Lings, and the Overlord all coming out. We are going to be seeing the Spire. I just said Spire for some reason. We could be seeing a Spire. I don't think necessarily we need to, though. Massling Bane on this map's pretty good, just for the size of the map. A lot of run-by opportunities. And just because as well, you just want to make sure that the terrain is generally controlled. It's not a map you need like really good drop defense on. It's not like Raduset where the one strength of the terrain may be those drops. And so you want to make sure that that is just shut down. I'd say this is more so just going to be that Baneling speed. Although I honestly just defended myself from a misspeak. I didn't think Aspire was necessarily the guarantee. And yet maybe I should just shut up because it will be Aspire. Well, Aspire it is. I mean, obviously Aspire is still fine. It's still a large map. I mean, there's still reasons why mutas are good on this map, obviously. In fact, some people will say mutas are great on this map. It's just not necessarily something I think you necessarily have to go into. Like I say, if this was Raduset, I'd be like, okay, I feel like you really need Aspire because the drop play is specifically very good on this on that map. On this map, obviously you still benefit from the size of it, the ability to kind of go back and forth. As the Hellions come forward. My main point that I wanted to just say is that it wasn't guaranteed to be Aspire as that lair came online. That's what I really wanted to kind of just say, because like I said at the time, I just said it as though it was a fact. I didn't really mean it like that. And like I say, it's not a guarantee, because I think you can see a lot of success with just Ling Bane into like fast infestation pit, because it's very difficult to die. You can kind of get a boosted economy with the gold, for example, so yeah. Works either way. Reynor is going to go for the Spire route as the Queens continue out into the center of the map as well. And we just have another factory coming up. Clem is not messing around with any kind of big racks attack or anything like that. Just an extra factory straight away, probably towards the 4th base very soon. I think Clem is very aware of where he needs to be during the course of these games. I don't think he's going to bring out anything super crazy or super hectic or super wild. I think he's just going to play a very standard setup for the most part. Marines trying to hit on the gold base. Marines will have to lift back up. Banelin's actually got a couple connections. Hellions still trying to find their ways in as well. No surprises about that. They are doing exactly what you expect them to. As the Ling Bane still comes around, Medivac's loading up a few of those Marines. Drilling Claws on the way as well. As the +2 attack, the combat shield. A little bit of everything just being set up for a few moments. Scanning the head, we're actually going to start knocking down a whole bunch of creep spread over here, so going to be able to get a good chunk of damage out of that. The Marines continue to come through. Some of that creep spread beginning to go down. And a little bit of a cleanup taking place for the moment. He's going to try and intercept some reinforcements. This also draws Clem back a little bit away from this initial push he was getting going. Clem is building that fourth I mentioned. He's coming diving in. Siege tank obviously in some danger there as we just have the Marines continue to come back over. Marines continue to get set back up to the top side as well. Just going to launch themselves onto supply depot. Pins are firing through, just going to be seeing the tank shot firing back. Obviously the position is good to help deny the goal base. Clem's putting a lot of attention on this though, so if this gets cleaned up or if this goes wrong, this can go very wrong very quickly. It's something to be very careful of. Queen's still coming about there, just going to be seeing the other units getting pushed down the bottom side. It's still firing away, the Lings and the Mutas still coming across. 7 drones being picked off for the moment as well. Bio still coming back through. Widow Mines are coming chasing. Marines and everything coming back over the far right side for now. And trying to see a little bit more of what can happen here is tank left behind is going to go down. Just gets cleaned up. Clem with a lot of units in the center. Still has a lot of work to be done with these. As we're actually going to be seeing Reynor taking this fight, feeling as though he can jump straight onto that, and he can. I'm pulling back, trying to let the Thor do some of the tanking as well, so doing a decent job there. And doing everything you'd expect him to. I'm just playing a very solid game at the moment here. The problem is, again, still it's going to be difficult to attack. You see Reynor taking a bit of a more committed fight now. Is going to be able to get a good portion across the map. But Widow Mines here might connect nicely. They kind of fire on the same circle in a couple seconds apart. As now 12 SCVs go down. Clem will lose control of his bases a little bit. Still only 20 supply down overall, though. I would not say that it's the end of the world for Clem. As Reynor is not exactly rich or super powerful either. Reynor also does not have 2-2 upgrades. One of the negatives of going mutas is your upgrades are oftentimes delayed. And this is going to be one of those cases where you're going to be upgradeless for the moment. And that is likely going to have a factor the deeper that this game goes on. Have a factor, be a factor. Try and use some proper English would be good. Who knew English was a good thing? As the Marines, the Medivacs continue back down the bottom. The Mutas are going to come through into the center as well. Just going to see the Marines there and the Thor shot or two to help out and to keep trying to push that away. The Muta comes across, a couple of Banelings trying to roll on in. The Muta's still trying to chase. He's still coming back over. The Baneling's coming across again. 8 Mutas have died off here. Still chilling out on the left-hand side. Medivacs going about. Mutas are going to come through once again. Just going to be heading forwards. A Medivac and a couple Marines begin to go down also. Still got Clem fighting for control of the center. You know, it doesn't feel like Reynor is. It doesn't feel like Reynor's exploding onto the map too much just yet, uncontrollably. But then you look at it, and it's like, well, that's just what Equilibrium does. He doesn't need to explode onto the map. The map just naturally explodes for him, just with its size. So you kind of stop and look, and you're like, oh, Reynor's on 6 bases. Seeing that creep is coming about. We just have ourselves the army still in the center. The Mutas are obviously units that have never really had much of a chance to do too much harassment themselves. As Thor is like, hey, This was not the job I wanted to be signed up for. Not today, as the meters fly through. There's a wood of mine there that will never connect. One Thor gets flown backwards. Clem has to come and respond to this. Yeah, for the first time, the meters are really harassed, and they're doing a pretty decent job of it, showing up and able to get a lot done. The meters dive in, missile turret going down. 16 SCVs dropping in total for the moment. Bio still coming across. There's a lot of dead SCVs, and that's definitely where things will add up a little bit here over these next few moments as well. If those SCVs keep going down, that can be where Reynor and then start just throw units towards Clem a lot more comfortably. Those meters were starting to take a lot of splash damage, stacked up. Thors were getting shots off. One from the main, one dropped onto the low ground there as well. We see the meters continue to go after those Thors, still stacked a little bit. Clem's losing so much though. 35 SCVs going down, and that is just the problem that Clem will continue to face. And as these Marines will go after a couple of mutas, they will try and get a little bit more damage done. Looks as though Reynor, at this point in time, would be sending Clem to the revival scenario. If I had to make a guess, Clem would be the revive from Liquid, and then he will have to take on Trigger/Cyril in the next match. Again, that's the issue. Fighting these Zergs, this level of Zerg on Equilibrium is so difficult, and that's why it was kind of very important for Liquid to have someone else just be there for Clem, right? Just have someone else to help knock down a Reynor, help knock down a Cyril, force it into some of the best of one situations later on. Rather, I mean, getting a 2-0 was always going to be tough. Now, it's not over yet. I've seen Clem kind of get bullied around and survive and do great things, but the way Reynor's been playing today, I just don't think that's a very likely situation. And as these go down, meters will take a few detours around. Again, this is the point in the game where the game is just completely controlled by Reynor, right? So he just gets to run around as he wishes. He gets to cause all sorts of trouble. He just gets to be the player to make Clem's life difficult. And the creep is getting even further forward, which is impressive. Halfway through the map on a map of this size is obviously going to be very difficult for Clem to ever knock back. There's the Ultra Cavern coming through as well. The stepping stone into the later stages of this game, of this matchup, especially after you've opened meters. Bane's still trying to come through. Marauders are going to be there as well, just pushing things back. We do have the Bio and the Thors continuing forward as well. Missile turrets firing up, and again, a few more meters taking some damage. A little bit more being done as we have our Marines there. The meters get turned around one more time. Bottom line is going off. Overseer's going down. Meters taking some shots as well. Meters going to go towards that orbital. Meters coming about. Bio still moving around a little bit as well. Bane's just going into the center there. Marauders taking shots. Meters still taking damage. The Banes are going to split apart. Going to come a couple different directions around here. Gold base of Clem getting blasted. He's taking something of a fight over here. The Meters obviously getting very involved too. In the main base, in the natural. Some snipes coming down. That Mutalist Ball. At some stage, Reynor is not going to want to keep that anymore. There's going to be a point at which he just says, no, I want to get rid of this at this point. So keep your eyes on that, because that Muta Ball ain't going to last forever. It ain't going to be here always. Force shot coming out. The Mutas get chased away once again. By force just continue to get settled then, as you have the units coming back forwards again. Like I say, Clem refuses to die a lot of the time, and if he can survive long enough and trade well enough, there is still a chance for him in this match. Like, It's not going to be easy, it's not going to be pretty, but it's not impossible, as you might think it is. The Banes coming around the back here, and some SCVs are going to get crashed on into. Probably going to turn back around, just going to be seen against 6 SCVs having gone down for the moment. Since it's lifted off, and it is just going to relocate itself once again. The mutas are again on the picture-in-picture, causing trouble. We've seen them on the picture-in-picture a few times, just being out and around the bases of Clem, like I say, making pickoffs, causing trouble, and just making life difficult in general for our Zerg player here. Couple snipes on those ultras, and Clem will push this away, but he just doesn't have enough. Reynor just have the momentum. Clem making it difficult, especially when it felt as though things were going decently. Reynor